Poppy hasn't been super popular in League of Legends since the days when she could completely ignore turret damage while running past your whole team to slam her little hammer into your face. While she did see huge spikes in popularity around her rework in 2016, she generally has been MIA in the meta, gradually seeing her play rate rise over the past couple of years to just barely touch around 4% now. While people have found value in Poppy in both top and jungle, where she makes the most sense, others have seen viability in Poppy as support, and honestly, it works pretty well. Standing head and shoulders above the rest of them is Synotic, a challenger player who plays many support champions but has found the most success this season on Poppy. He started playing ranked in League in Season 4 and was always drawn to support, playing well over 1,000 games in his first season, mostly on Morgana and Thresh, and being able to push himself into Diamond 3 even at a young age. He stayed stuck in Diamond through Season 8, pushing his rank slightly higher to D2 and then finally D1, largely playing Thresh and Morgana still, but also sneaking in some Zyra support games as his third most played champion. In Season 9, he was more motivated than ever to push further, and he was attending college now. In his search for greatness, he had small stints on his college team at Robert Morris University and an amateur team named First Blood Crusade, where he even played briefly with 100 Thieves top laner Tenacity. His hard work paid off when he hit Challenger this season, but it wasn't until Season 10 that Poppy came into the picture. He picked her up in some specific matchups that we'll talk about later, only picking her 60 times total, and once again in Season 10, he was able to hit Challenger. Now, in Season 11, Poppy is his most played champion with over 110 games played on her and a 55% win rate in high elo. He's currently ranked Grandmaster 464 LP, where he continues to climb back to Challenger to this day. Poppy support does have some problems we need to talk about though. First, her CC ability is situational, heavily relying on her opponents to miss position for you to be able to land it. Also, she has to be pretty close to the enemy to be effective, and with only one gap close, this can become problematic very quick. In the support role, you're picking up scraps for cash, so being so poor normally means a long time before you become as tanky as a jungle or top lane Poppy would be. And finally, and most importantly, with a taller lane partner, Poppy can have a tough time seeing enemies, since she's so tiny. But even with all of these potential problems, Synotic has found a way to make it work. Even before the game starts, Synotic is assessing the enemy team to see if Poppy support is a good pick. You don't want to pick Poppy support into heavy poke and harass supports, because they like to stay back and far away from Poppy's range of control. If the enemy has a crucial dash in their kit that Poppy can stop, like Leona, Rakan, or Thresh, Poppy is a definite possibility for him. Also, if the enemy support is a straight up tanky boy or girl, Poppy support works well too. In lane at level 1, he will pick up E or Heroic Charge first. Level 1 and laning in general admittedly is a bit more chill for Poppy support. You don't want to charge into both opponents unless you know you can land your stun against a wall or push an enemy closer to your ADC or jungler when getting a gank. Level 1, you're mostly sitting back, harassing with your ranged passive, and pushing level 2 lead by nuking the melee minions down. Level 2, he'll typically take his W or Steadfast Presence ability. And it supports with gap closes. This is your most important ability in lane. We talked about how Synotic prefers to pick Poppy into laners with some sort of dash, and that's because of this ability. You can completely shut down an engage or an escape, and since W also gives Poppy a 40% speed boost and slows an affected enemy by 25% after you stop their dash, you can reposition yourself to set up an easy heroic charge against a nearby wall for an easy counterattack. You can also use W to completely stop a gank. At level 3, he levels up his Q or Hammer Shock ability. Hammer Shock is used mostly in lane after landing a stun and does some great damage. The initial impact does a flat attack damage and also a percentage of the enemy's max health. The delayed eruption does the exact same thing. At level 1, if it only did percentage max health and you landed both parts of it, you would do 16% damage to the enemy's health bar. This is why Poppy is so good against tanky supports. The second half of the ability also slows a bit, making it harder to get away. Quick note as well that Synotic will swap leveling his Q second instead of W if the enemy has no gap close. Synotic then proceeds to max E. As Poppy, you're a playmaking and peeling support, and it's important that you lower the cooldown and lengthen the stun duration on your E by maxing it, so you can do those things more often. He's hyper aware in lane when an enemy is too close to a wall, and if he can flash stun someone, you better believe he's going to do it. A trade of summoner spells is always worth it on Poppy support because the enemy flashes away to escape one pin. The next time they get slammed without flash, it will almost always equal a kill, even on an enemy that can dash away thanks to her W. If you try support Poppy, you'll probably notice at this point in lane that your lane feels kinda stagnant. You don't want to slowly walk in and take a bunch of damage while trying to force a charge on the enemy without flash, and the enemy will not engage on you in fear of you shutting down their engage with W and turning it around on them. Stay patient, let your ADC farm up, and wait for your enemy to make a mistake. This is where Poppy thrives. The cycle continues until he hits level 6 when he levels up his ultimate or Keeper's Verdict. Poppy's ult is a very unique ability, and as such, can be used in many ways. The most common way Synotic uses it is as a disengage tool for his team and to turn the tides of battle. If his ADC or other teammate is in danger, he yeets the aggressor across the map to save his ally's life or to push numbers into his team's favor in a big fight. If he catches an enemy with heroic charge or his E, he may instead choose to elongate the amount of time they're CC'd by tapping the ultimate instead of charging it up. This makes it so the enemy is only knocked up and not away, allowing him or his teammates to have enough time to finish off the poor sap. A basic and full combo normally looks like this. Slam an enemy against a wall, locking them up for up to 2 seconds. Use your Q immediately after so both parts of it will hit while they're CC'd. Tap your ultimate to extend the amount of time that they're CC'd, and then use your W to prevent them from using any movement abilities to run away. The timing on your W can vary if you have to use the speed boost to get in range, but generally, this is what a full combo looks like. While many of our junglers turn support videos have success roaming in the mid game to other lanes, Poppy struggles a bit, considering the closest lane to bottom is middle, and there just aren't many walls there. Synotic will roam some in the early and mid game, but he focuses on roaming in the jungle with his team, since he has so many walls to stun enemies against. He looks for plays around invades, objectives, or individuals warding to catch the enemy off guard with a stun and a bunch of damage. Again, while Poppy can serve as this great catch support when there's a wall nearby, she functions phenomenally as a peel support, so he also likes to stick close to his carries through the mid game to allow them to output the majority of the damage while they survive. Teamfighting as Poppy is somewhat similar. You have 2 significant jobs when you know a teamfight is breaking out. Number 1 is to protect your carries. Sit on top of your ADC or other valuable player and block the enemy team from coming in with your W. It can help to tell your carry to stick close to walls to then also set you up for some big stuns to allow them more time to peel away from danger. Keep slamming people who are aggressing or out of position against walls to slow down their usefulness and let your team put out damage faster than them. Your ultimate can also play a role in protecting your carries as well, but your second job during a telegraphed teamfight is to buy Felicia and enemy champion out of it with your ultimate. While they slowly try to walk back to your team, the battle has already been a 4v5 for too long. With numbers in your favor, it should be easy enough to kill a champion or 2, securing the teamfight as a whole. Some quick tips and tricks I picked up while just watching a bunch of Synotic's games. Number 1, if you need a quick shield from your passive, killing an enemy with your passive attack immediately applies the shield to you. So last hitting a minion with your support item can automatically give you a shield in a tight situation. This also works on jungle plants as well. Your W can stop champions from escaping with blast cones, so if someone is trying to run away using one, get in range with your W to prevent them from running away. And finally, you don't always need to use your ultimate to disengage. Sometimes when an opponent sees you charging your ultimate, they'll immediately back off. So if you don't let go of your R button, eventually it will cancel itself and be put on a reduced 30-second cooldown. If you want to cancel it quicker without using it, press back in the middle of the animation to put it on a reduced 30-second cooldown again. For his build, he starts every game with steel shoulder guards. From there, since positioning for stuns is so important on Poppy, he then rushes tier 2 boots, buying plated steel caps against auto attack heavy teams, mercury treads against teams with a lot of CC, and boots of swiftness if neither of the previous conditions are true. He then rushes his mythic item, a locket of iron solari, to become tankier. For his 4th item, he'll look to the enemy team. If he built plated steel caps or the enemy is healing heavy, he'll probably go thornmail next. If they're magic damage heavy, he'll go for force of nature. Or a more balanced team, he'll typically grab a dead man's plate. He'll stick to these 3 items for his 5th slots as well. If the game goes long or he needs some more oomph in his build, he'll buy an elixir of iron. And for his 6th item, and throughout the whole game, as a good support does, he's buying control wards to win the vision game. For his runes, he takes Aftershock for reduced damage after engaging, Fawn of Life, Bone Plating because it's just the best rune, and Unflinching to be able to more easily move around in fights. For his secondary page, he brings Sudden Impact for more damage after charging in, and Relentless Hunter to get to fights quicker. For his flex runes, he brings 2 Adaptive Force, and either Armor or Magic Resist depending on his lane opponents. Poppy support works well with ADCs with CC like Ashe or Jinx, or ADCs that need space to function like Kog'Maw or Vayne. Poppy support struggles against duelist ADCs like Lucian or Vayne, or supports who want to poke like Zyra and Xerath. Thank you everyone who voted for Poppy support this week over mid Sejuani. It was a resounding pick for Poppy support as opposed to Sejuani, but that does not mean that we will not do that Sejuani video in the future. This support is a lot more akin to how I like to play. Tanky, engage, CC, seems like a lot of fun, and also a good way to learn how to be a better peel support. So I hope you guys check this out. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. That helps the channel grow so much more than you guys can ever imagine, and I appreciate any time we get a comment down there so we can have a little bit of back and forth together. That's really it for today, y'all. I hope you guys are having a great day or night or whatever it is for you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.